Okay, so Amanda, you're leading a little insurrection, maybe a big one. You can tell me what's the goal?
The goal is to urge the members of the Electoral College to cast their votes for Hillary Clinton when they convene on December 19th. Just this morning, we learned that Clinton is ahead in the popular vote by more than 2 million, which is completely unprecedented. In addition, one of the purposes of the Electoral College is to block unfit leaders from office. So we're asking them to both stand up for democracy and protect our nation from an unprecedented threat.
So way back at the beginning of our country, the founding fathers thought that it might come one day that a professional wrestling and reality TV star would be elected by the Electoral College, and that the electors who actually do cast the real ballots to choose the president on December 19th could choose otherwise?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I think actually Donald Trump is about as close as what they possibly could have imagined. They basically imagined that someone would become a very popular figure but not actually have qualifications, be dangerously unqualified, and the electors would be there to stop, the damage he would do to the country. So I think that's one purpose of this. The other purpose, I think, is we can use this undemocratic institution of the Electoral College to actually achieve a democratic result here, since Clinton's so far ahead. When we vote in our election days, we're not actually voting for a particular candidate, we're voting for a party's electors. So we're either voting for Democratic electors or Republican electors to then make a decision for us. So on December 19th, electors appointed, or I think they're elected in every state, are gathering in a state capitol to cast their ballots for the president. They're empowered by us to make that choice. Traditionally, they will vote with their party's nominee, but they do have power and discretion to vote for someone else if they find that nominee to be unqualified or if they have another compelling reason not to vote for them.
Okay, so what's your response when people say you're just not accepting the outcome? Donald Trump was saying it was rigged when he thought he was going to lose according to the polls. What's your response to that charge?
Sure. Well, I think this is a very different situation. One, we've never had such a wide gap in the popular vote in the Electoral College. Even in 2000, when I think folks were pretty rightfully outraged about Bush becoming president, Gore had won by 500,000 votes. Here, Hillary is already ahead by more than 2 million, might be far more than that in the end. And in addition to that, it's not just the people that voted, it's also the people that weren't allowed to vote. We saw record levels of voter suppression. The VRA's decimation is the first election we've had since we haven't had those protections.
Voting Rights Act.
Voting Rights Act, yeah, sorry about that. I think there's a lot of reasons to think that Hillary Clinton actually had far more support than even is showing right now. But beyond that, as I mentioned, there's a second purpose, which the Electoral College is here to protect us from unfit presidents. Just since November 9th, America has taken a really scary and dangerous turn. We've seen record hate crimes, people being harassed and attacked in the streets, white nationalists openly saluting Hitler in meetings in Washington, D.C. This is,
I was there.
Yeah.
Not as a white nationalist, as a reporter. Okay, those are all reasons to be sad, outraged, unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all reasons to fear for global security, fear for civil rights and basic human rights. But the people who are going to vote on the 19th are Republican electors.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not saying that they don't care about human rights or global peace, but what is it that they might have seen that would cause them to change their mind about being loyal to the Republican Party?
Well, I mean, one is just the fact that this is literally their job. This is why the Electoral College is here. Republicans from the beginning, from when Trump announced his candidacy, have been saying that he is unqualified and unfit. We have every major Republican leader who at least was running against him at some point in time denounce him. They obviously went back on that later and supported him.
One of them looks like he's going to be Secretary of State, another one's going to be the UN.
Yes. Unfortunately.
So.
Yeah, I mean, the record is clear that many Republicans obviously think on some level that he is dangerous and unfit. They might be, strange bedfellows with him now, but there's a clear record. Also, I mean, frankly, if you want to talk about this from a conservative angle, his ties to Russia are very troubling.
No. Russia's okay now because, Russia was bad when we were fighting for civil rights and we were trying to tie civil rights leaders to communism and all that stuff. Then they were bad. But now that the civil rights thing has flipped and Russia's trying to help Donald Trump,
of course,
then now Russia's good. Just want to let you know.
Yeah, good to know. I mean, frankly, on that level as well, world leaders across the globe are terrified of Donald Trump. He's bringing unprecedented instability to our entire world, and I think this is an opportunity where we have a chance. We have a system that was set up to stop exactly this kind of threat.
Okay,
why are we not going to use it?
Does it actually say somewhere in because I'm just taking your word for this.
Sure.
But is there a backup that I thought the Electoral College was kind of because they were worried about slave populations one day, being emancipated and being able to vote. So it really was, the Electoral College was set up to basically save us if we were stupid enough to elect a professional wrestler as president?
Yes. Actually, Alexander Hamilton wrote extensively about this in the Federalist Papers in Justifying the Electoral System. And he wrote quite a bit about, this idea of a popular demagogue rising into power. And I think Donald Trump is really the archetype for exactly what he was talking about.
Okay, so how do you lobby? How do you read? Do you know who the electors are? Do you have their emails, their phone numbers?
Yeah, so actually Democracy, which is my organization, we have the most extensive database of elector information out there. We have all of their emails, all of their phone numbers, all of their personal information. But unlike other sites that we've seen pop up, we want to protect that sensitive personal information. So we've built a web portal that allows people to send emails directly to them, but also masks that information so that, it's not being used to harass people or intimidate people. So you can go on our website, www.democrec.org, go on the web portal, send them emails directly. It takes under a minute to do it. We have a pre-written script. You can also add to it if you'd like, and contact them. We're also going to be planning phone banking, direct state actions on December 19th. Is going to be a bigger movement, but for now we're asking people to send emails to their electors and show that there's strength in this. We got to make this a movement. Right now we're starting with these emails. We're going to expand beyond it. You should like our Facebook page, facebook.com/democracy. We're on Twitter. We're going to be building this out quite a bit more, and we welcome people to collaborate with us on this. We're talking to some other groups that are working on it, but I think, this is also, I want to make the point, this is less about the outcome and more about the outrage. Obviously getting Republican electors to support Hillary Clinton is going to be a tough battle, but we think that we have to make the point, we have to go down in history as using every possible tool we had to stop this demagogue who really, I think, is the most dangerous threat our nation has seen in quite some time.